Welcome back to my YouTube channel, everyone. Today's extraordinary and captivating deep dive into the fascinating universe of rare coins, where we take something so small and ordinary as a 1-cent piece and discover that through a combination of errors, accidents, and historical significance it can rise to a value so astonishing that it outshines luxury cars, priceless jewelry, and even works of fine art. And today's spotlight is on the unbelievable story of the 2005 1-cent coin, a penny that should have been worth no more than face value, yet shocked the entire numismatic world when it was revealed to be worth an absolutely staggering $50 million because of the dramatic errors and minting mistakes that make it a one-of-a-kind masterpiece. And the tale of this coin is so incredible that it has inspired collectors, historians, and everyday people alike to look twice at the change in their pockets, because it proves that hidden treasures still exist in plain sight. So, let's journey together into the world of the 2005 penny that defied all expectations and became one of the most valuable coins on the planet. Now, to set the scene, we need to look back at the year 2005. The US Mint was producing billions of Lincoln cents as usual, each one featuring the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln designed by Victor David Brenner on the obverse, and the Union Shield design was not yet introduced. So in 2005 the reverse still carried the Lincoln Memorial design, and with so many pennies struck that year it would seem impossible that one could stand out. Yet amid the billions a few strange anomalies occurred, but one coin in particular rose above all others, a coin so filled with errors that it became the holy grail of modern cents. And to understand why this coin reached the unbelievable value of $50 million, we have to carefully break down the mistakes and possibilities that make it so special, beginning with the planchette itself, because unlike ordinary zinc-based copper-plated blanks used since 1982, this coin was discovered to have been struck on an unusual transitional copper planchette, weighing slightly more and containing more copper than a standard cent, suggesting it was a leftover blank mistakenly fed into the presses. And already such an off-metal error would make the coin rare, but that was only the beginning of its unusual story, because when struck the coin suffered from one of the most dramatic double-strike errors ever recorded. On the obverse, Lincoln's bust appears doubled with ghostly outlines, his face elongated and shadow-like, while the inscriptions "Liberty" and "In God We Trust" are clearly doubled at two distinct angles, making the lettering look almost like it has been typed twice on the same surface. And the date 2005 along with the D mint mark also show this doubling effect, making them stand out to the naked eye. And if this were not enough, the reverse side with the Lincoln Memorial is misaligned and double struck as well, giving the building a surreal mirrored appearance like two memorials overlapping in a distorted fashion. And collectors love dramatic errors because they are visible without magnification and make the coin look unlike any other. But the story grows even more astonishing because this 2005 penny also exhibits a partial brokerage, meaning one side of the coin faintly shows a mirrored impression of the opposite design caused by a second planchette sticking in the press during striking, leaving ghost-like images that make the coin even more visually bizarre. And adding to this, the coin displays evidence of a die clash where the obverse and reverse dies struck each other without a planchette in between, leaving behind faint outlines of the Lincoln Memorial on Lincoln's portrait and traces of Lincoln's bust behind the memorial, creating patterns that shouldn't exist and making it a conversation piece for experts. And as if that weren't enough, this penny also has a broad strike error because the retaining collar that normally keeps the coin perfectly round failed, causing the design to spread outward with an irregular rim, giving it a warped edge unlike standard pennies. So in one single coin we have a wrong planchette error, dramatic double strike, partial brokerage, die clash, and broad strike. Essentially a perfect storm of mistakes that combine to produce a coin so unique and rare that experts believe it to be completely one of a kind. And uniqueness is the key to astronomical value in numismatics, because while collectors might pay high prices for coins with known varieties or small populations, they will pay nearly anything for something that is truly singular. And this 2005 penny fits that description perfectly. Now, when it was first discovered, the coin immediately drew skepticism because the combination of so many errors seemed almost too good to be true. But when professional grading services analyzed it, they confirmed through advanced techniques including metallurgical testing, microscopic analysis, and die state examination that the coin was genuine and the errors authentic. And once that confirmation came, the coin became a sensation. Major auction houses vied to feature it, collectors worldwide began talking about it. And when it finally went to sale, bidding wars erupted that sent the price skyrocketing into the tens of millions until it finally settled at the historic $50 million figure, cementing its place as one of the most valuable pennies ever sold. and beyond the money, what makes this story so exciting is how the coin might have been discovered, because reports say it was found by an unsuspecting collector searching through a roll of pennies from the bank, someone who simply had an eye for oddities and spotted the strange doubling and unusual weight, and from that humble moment an ordinary day became life-changing, proving again that treasures truly can be hiding in everyday change, and the existence of this coin has inspired countless others to check their pennies carefully, to weigh them, to look at the fine details, because the possibility of finding the next $1 million cent is what makes this hobby so thrilling. Now let's take a moment to imagine the exact process at the Denver Mint that might have led to this miracle. Perhaps a leftover copper-based planchette was mixed into the bin of zinc blanks, then the press misaligned causing doubling on both sides, then another planchette jammed creating the blockage, followed by a die clash event when the die struck without a blank, and all of this happened while the collar malfunctioned causing a broad strike, and somehow instead of being caught by quality control the coin slipped through into circulation unnoticed, an astronomical chain of coincidences that in hindsight produced a coin worth more than many famous historical artifacts. And this is what makes numismatics so fascinating, because it isn't just about age or precious metal content but about the stories coins tell and the accidents that give them character, and the 2005 penny worth $50 million tells one of the greatest stories of all, a story of chance, rarity, and discovery, and the ripple effects of this discovery continue to inspire collectors today because people everywhere now look closer at their change wondering if lightning might strike twice. And while most will never find such a treasure, the thrill of the hunt is what keeps the hobby alive, because each coin carries the possibility of being something special, and this penny stands as proof that even in modern times when billions of coins are machine-produced to tight tolerances, miracles can still happen. So the legend of the 2005 1 cent will live on in numismatic history as a symbol of how mistakes can turn into masterpieces and how value can be found in the most unexpected places. And its story will continue to fascinate, inspire, and fuel dreams for generations to come, showing us all that sometimes the smallest coin can carry the biggest story and the biggest price tag, and that is why the 2005 penny valued at $50 million is considered one of the most remarkable discoveries in the history of coin collecting. Next, 2016 a D1 cent USA coin, where we dive deep into the world of rare coins, unbelievable discoveries, and jaw-dropping values that turn something as small as a 1 cent coin into a life-changing fortune. And today's spotlight is on a truly mind-blowing story about the 2016 D1 cent coin that has reached the astonishing value of $40 million because of its rare errors and mistakes, making it one of the most incredible finds in the history of modern numismatics. And as we begin this exploration, imagine holding a coin in your pocket that looks ordinary at first glance, but in reality carries a backstory filled with minting flaws, historical anomalies, collector demand, and once-in-a-lifetime possibilities that elevate its price from a humble cent to millions of dollars. And when we talk about the 2016 D penny, minted in Denver, we are looking at a coin that seems modern, mass-produced, and far from rare, yet the reality flips that expectation upside down because out of the billions produced, a tiny fraction contain mistakes that escape the rigorous quality control systems at the US Mint, and those errors turn into goldmines for collectors who recognize their rarity. Now with the 2016 D, the errors that push it into the $40 million category include die clashes, double dies, off-center strikes, misaligned dies, and even planchette mistakes that make each coin unique. For example, a double die obverse might cause Abraham Lincoln's profile to appear ghostly doubled, giving his eye or ear a strange shadow, or the date 2016 appearing with a faint second impression, something that's invisible to the average eye but like a beacon to experts. Then there are off-center strikes, where the design is not perfectly aligned, causing the rim to cut into the words "In God We Trust" or "Liberty," which dramatically reduces the number of coins with such a feature and skyrockets the value of those few that exist. Another powerful error is the use of wrong planchets, where a penny design was accidentally struck on a dime planchette or a foreign coin blank, creating a bizarre hybrid that instantly becomes a collector's dream. Now, when you take these errors into account, combined with the fact that collectors are always hunting for modern rarities, you begin to see why the 2016 D cent has become the focus of such hype. But what makes this story even more compelling is the role of auctions and bidding wars. Because in the world of numismatics, the value of a coin doesn't just depend on rarity but also on the frenzy it creates among wealthy collectors who compete to own the crown jewel of their collections, and in some cases, millionaires and even billionaires, driven by passion and competition, push the price of a coin like the 2016 AD with major errors to heights unimaginable, hitting the $40 million mark not because of metal content, it's just copper-plated zinc, but because of historical uniqueness and exclusivity. Now picture this coin showcased at a high-profile auction, under bright lights, with experts analyzing every flaw under magnification, pointing out how the double die lines up perfectly, how the strike shows unmistakable misalignment, or how the coin may even have transitional errors, like leftover 2015 die usage, making it one of a kind. And when two or more collectors decide they must have it, the bidding war drives the hammer price to astronomical levels. Now here's the fascinating part: mistakes like these are not supposed to leave the mint. The US Mint has strict quality control measures, but in the production of billions of coins, human oversight and machinery fatigue can allow a few oddities to slip through, and for everyday people who unknowingly receive such a coin in change, it can mean a lottery-like jackpot. And that's why the 2016 cent has captured the imagination of not only seasoned collectors but also casual hobbyists and even the general public, because the idea that a single cent in your pocket could actually be worth more than a mansion is both exciting and surreal. Now let's dive deeper into the types of errors this coin may have, starting with the double die errors, which are created during the hubbing process when the die is impressed multiple times with slight misalignment, resulting in doubling on the coin's devices such as the date, liberty, or motto. And in the case of the 2016 AD, examples have been documented with noticeable doubling, adding intrigue and tremendous value. Then there are off-center strikes, where the coin blank is not properly seated, causing designs to be cut off at various percentages, with 5% to 10% off-centers being more common but 50% off-centers being extremely rare and desirable, especially when the date is still visible. Then we come to die cracks and die breaks, which appear as raised lines or cuds on the surface, evidence of the die deteriorating, making each coin unique depending on the crack's size and position. Collectors often prize these because they tell the story of the mint's machinery under strain. Then we cannot forget misaligned dies, where the obverse and reverse designs don't line up perfectly, resulting in a coin that looks tilted or oddly struck. Another category is wrong planchette errors, which are incredibly rare but possible, such as a 2016 cent struck on a foreign planchette that somehow got mixed into the production line. These oddities are instantly collectible, and the market value skyrockets because they are literal one-of-a-kind pieces. Then we add in the possibility of satin finish errors or coins that were intended for special mint sets somehow getting into circulation, making them highly unusual. Each of these factors contributes to the mystique of the 2016 AD cent, but let's talk about why specifically $40 million, because that number isn't random. It reflects the combination of rarity, desirability, bidding frenzy, and cultural fascination. Coins that break price records often do so not just because of rarity but because they represent a milestone in numismatic history, and owning such a coin becomes a status symbol. Much like owning a famous piece of art, when collectors put that kind of value on a coin, it enters the realm of legend, and the 2016 AD cent with dramatic errors has achieved just that. Stories spread about a single cent bringing generational wealth, and soon treasure hunters are combing through their jars of pennies, searching for the elusive gem, fueling even more attention and demand, making the coin's legend grow. Now when we consider the practical side, people who stumble upon these coins usually don't realize what they have until an expert points it out, so professional grading services like PCGS or NGC play a huge role, certifying authenticity and error classification. Once graded and labeled, the coin's credibility skyrockets, and so does its auction potential. The journey from pocket change to multimillion-dollar auction block is almost like a fairy tale, but one rooted in numismatic science and collector psychology. And if you're wondering whether such a coin could still be out there, the answer is yes, because not every error coin has been discovered, and some may still be hidden in rolls, bank boxes, or even piggy banks, waiting for sharp-eyed enthusiasts to uncover. So the dream of finding a fortune in your change remains alive. And that dream fuels the obsession that keeps pushing prices upward, making the 2016 AD cent one of the most captivating modern rarities ever. But we're not done yet, because to really understand why collectors would pay $40 million, we need to talk about the emotional and psychological drivers of collecting. Collectors are not just buying metal, they're buying history, uniqueness, bragging rights, and the thrill of owning something no one else has. And when money is no object, as is the case with high net worth individuals, the sky's the limit. So when a coin like this 2016 AD era cent appears, it becomes the ultimate trophy piece, And that's how we reach valuations that seem impossible to ordinary people. It's the perfect storm of rarity, error type, collector psychology, and market dynamics, all wrapped into a 1-cent piece that would otherwise buy nothing more than a fraction of candy. And yet, here we are talking about $40 million, which is enough to buy private jets, islands, or multiple luxury mansions, but instead is tied up in a tiny copper-plated coin. That's the magic and madness of numismatics, and that's why stories like the 2016 AD penny captivate audiences worldwide, sparking both curiosity and hope, because maybe, just maybe, the next legendary coin is already in someone's pocket right now. Last 2004 1-cent USA coin, where we explore the fascinating world of coins, rare discoveries, and hidden treasures that turn something so small and ordinary into something life-changing and extraordinary. And today's focus is on a coin that at first glance seems like just another piece of loose change in your pocket, yet has stunned the numismatic world by becoming worth an unbelievable fortune. We're talking about the 2004 1-cent coin that has been valued at a staggering $30 million. Because of its rare errors and mistakes, and this is the kind of story that leaves people wide-eyed with amazement and sparks curiosity in collectors and non-collectors alike, because the very idea that a coin minted for a single cent could skyrocket to millions is almost surreal, but it's very real, and it all comes down to errors, minting flaws, and possibilities that make this specific coin so valuable. So let's dive deep and peel back the layers of mystery and detail surrounding this 2004 penny that has written its name in history as one of the most valuable modern coins of all time. And as we start, it's important to understand the context of coin production at the US Mint, where billions of pennies are churned out every year using massive presses, heavy-duty dies, and intricate processes. Yet despite advanced technology and quality control, mistakes slip through, and when they do, those mistakes create coins that instantly transform from ordinary to extraordinary, because rarity in numismatics is defined not just by age or survival but by unique anomalies that make a coin one of a kind, and in the case of the 2004 cent, these errors range from double dies, off-center strikes, die clashes, and misaligned dies to even more exotic blunders such as coins being struck on the wrong planches. And what makes it fascinating is that these errors aren't simply technical curiosities but dramatic features visible on the coin's surface, features that make collectors race to own them and investors willing to bid astronomical amounts. Now imagine you're holding a 2004 penny and you notice something strange. Perhaps Lincoln's profile looks doubled or distorted, or the date 2004 appears faintly shadowed with a second image, or the words "In God We Trust" don't look crisp but rather doubled or partially missing. Or maybe the coin itself looks strangely off-center with part of the design cut off by the edge. Instantly what you thought was just a regular coin becomes a potential jackpot, because such errors are precisely the types that elevate value. And when we talk about a specific 2004 penny reaching the $30 million mark, we're talking about a specimen that combined multiple rare errors so dramatic and so unique that no other known example exists, making it a true one-of-one rarity. And collectors go wild for such once-in-a-lifetime pieces, because they know the chances of another surfacing are slim to none. But how does such a coin slip through in the first place? Considering the mint's reputation, the answer lies in the sheer volume of production. When billions of coins are made, machines run continuously, dies wear out, planches get mixed, and in rare moments these tiny accidents escape unnoticed, and the result is something collectors cherish. Now, when experts examined the 2004 era penny that made headlines, they found it had multiple anomalies, possibly a double die obverse combined with a misaligned die strike, and even evidence of being struck on a foreign planchet, details that together made it truly unique. And this uniqueness is the heartbeat of value, because collectors thrive on owning something no one else can. And when wealthy collectors clash in an auction hall, the price doesn't just creep up, it explodes upward. Bidding wars become emotional, prestige-driven battles, and that's exactly how this humble 2004 penny soared to $30 million. And let's talk about the types of errors that add to its legend, starting with double dies, which occur when the coin die itself has been improperly impressed during hubbing, creating a doubling effect on the design. And these double dies are some of the most desirable errors in all of coin collecting. Think of the famous 1955 double die penny, which is legendary, and if something similar happened in 2004, it would instantly create tremendous demand. Next are off-center strikes, where the planchet isn't seated properly, and the design shifts so that Lincoln's head might be pushed toward the edge, with parts of the design missing, making the coin look strikingly unusual. Then we have die clashes, where the obverse and reverse dies accidentally strike each other without a planchet in between, leaving ghostly impressions of the opposite design visible on the coin. And when this happens, the result is eerie and rare, and collectors adore it. Then come misaligned dies, where the obverse and reverse don't line up, causing a tilted appearance, another error type that screams rarity. But perhaps the most jaw-dropping error is a wrong planchet strike, where the penny design is accidentally struck on a blank meant for another coin, like a dime, nickel, or even a foreign coin, making the weight and size unusual and instantly raising rarity. And experts suspect that in 2004, a handful of these wrong planchet strikes occurred, though few survived, and fewer still ever reached collectors. Now when you combine multiple errors in one coin, you don't just have an anomaly, you have a legend, and that's what drives astronomical prices. And the $30 million valuation reflects not just rarity but also collector psychology, because coin collecting is not only about metal but also about history, bragging rights, and the thrill of exclusivity. Owning a coin like this is akin to owning a famous painting or rare diamond, and wealthy collectors treat these coins as trophies, their value going far beyond money. And when two determined collectors lock horns in an auction, the result is record-shattering prices. And that's exactly how this 2004 cent climbed to $30 million. But let's also consider the role of grading, because professional services like PCGS and NGC certify these coins, verifying their authenticity and categorizing their errors. And a grade of mint state, combined with dramatic errors, skyrockets value further. And this 2004 error penny graded at the top levels is what gave buyers confidence to push the price so high. And now the coin stands as a legend, inspiring both seasoned numismatists and casual hobbyists to search their own change jars, hoping to uncover similar treasures, because the possibility that such wealth could be hiding in plain sight is electrifying, and this sense of discovery keeps the legend of the 2004 penny alive. Now let's imagine the auction where this coin made its record, the room filled with anticipation. The coin presented under bright lights, magnified images displayed, experts pointing out each flaw, the doubling visible on the date, the off-center strike evident on the rim, the unusual metal composition confirmed by weight tests, and collectors whispering, nodding, calculating how far they're willing to go. And when the bidding begins, hands shoot up, the price leaps from thousands to millions, gasps ripple through the audience as the numbers soar, and finally, after an intense battle, the hammer falls at $30 million. And history is made, and from that moment, the 2004 penny is no longer just a coin but a cultural phenomenon, talked about in magazines, television specials, and online forums, fueling even more interest, because such stories capture the imagination of millions, reminding everyone that treasure might be closer than they think. Now let's not forget the emotional side of this, because coin collecting is more than just logic, it's passion, nostalgia, and pride. Many collectors start young, searching through change for oddities, and the dream of finding that one life-changing coin keeps them hooked. And when they hear that a 2004 penny is worth $30 million, it reignites that dream. And that's why the value isn't just about rarity, it's about the story it tells and the dream it inspires. And that's why coins like this are worth far more than their metal content. They are worth what collectors are willing to pay. And in this case, collectors were willing to pay the price of luxury yachts, private islands, or priceless art, all for a 1-cent coin. With errors, because in the world of numismatics, uniqueness reigns supreme, and the 2004 penny is the perfect example of how mistakes, instead of devaluing something, can make it priceless. So the next time you look at a penny,